So currently I've been trying to figure out an experiment with just kind of all that goes into fly fishing, because there's so much that goes into it. From we got tippet leaders, tippet ring, presentation. We also have to account for current, water speed, if they open the dam, if water's flowing. There's so many variables to it. So this video is me working through those and testing just about every fly I've got in my box to see what they want. So if you guys are at all curious about what goes into setting up a fly pole, be sure to stick around to the end of the video and see what all it entails. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your coworkers. If you learn something new, share it with your neighbor. But remember, fish after me. Wow. There's just so many trout out here. You can see them. I mean, they just look like dots, dots, dots. There's probably 40 of them out here. Let's see if we can't get something in their face. I might take one of these weights off. It might be too much now that they're not running water. Okay, we just took one of these off. Let's see how it floats. Oh, that's perfect. Probably don't even need a weight at all. We'll see. Wish that sun wasn't glaring right in my eyes. First world problems for sure. It's crazy how low it is when they turn the water off. I mean, usually all this is underwater. I mean, there's a lot of people down here fishing this morning. Last hoorah before we leave town. Right where I casted, there's like 15 of them just hanging out here on the top. Let's see if we can float this into their strike zone. I mean, they're just jumping like crazy right now. There's a lot of fine little variables that could make or break you. Let's see, let's move our bobber down just a little bit. We're just gonna float this at like 12 inches maybe. Put this a little bit further down. We'll try that, and then our next move is to take this weight off completely. And that's kind of just letting it hang just like 6 inches off the bottom. That's perfect. All right, let's load this. Here's got one. Oh, this guy's back down here with his dog. We saw him last time we were here. It's funny the small details you remember about somebody. You're like, oh, I know that guy. Never seen him before. Oh, he's looking at it. Twitch it a little bit. I don't think he's convinced. He wasn't. So maybe let me try taking the weight off entirely. They say go smaller. I don't even know what this is. It's probably sub size 20 or 22. It's itty bitty for sure. Really don't know if that's gonna sink now. Maybe I should have left that little baby piece on there. Yeah, it's sinking. I see it sinking. See, right in the freaking crowd. There's so many of them. This is insane. Grab it, grab it, grab it, grab it. Twitch it. They usually like these midges, so we'll see. I mean, I just floated through a crowd of like 10 of them. I think a lot of the times, if they see it kind of drop in front of them, they're not really interested in it. Especially if people are up here like this fly fishing all day, maybe they're a little hesitant. I mean, I think I would be. That one just hit right where my line landed. Looks like they're hitting top water, so I might try to put a bug on. Maybe a little beetle. I have a couple of those in my box. That guy said he was hitting on the beetle, so this might be a good beetle imitation right here. And then these are beetles. I think those are the only two that I have though. But we'll try something. Ooh, one just bubbled up right where my bobber is. Oh dang. Wasn't paying attention. Missed my bite. Dang. There's so many of them through here. Oh my gosh. Whoa, that was awesome to see. It could be timing again. It's usually timing when we can't catch anything. It's not saying that we're good or anything, but usually they kind of have like strict little cycles of how they eat. I mean, I've seen one person up there with a bite, and there's a lot of people I haven't seen hooked up, so could be the time. They could just be taking a little break, maybe looking for something small to snack on. It's gorgeous out here this morning though. You can't, there's no, it's crazy because there was frost this morning on Brian's truck before we left, right? And then we get down here and it's nice. I mean, there's no, before I switch this, actually, I'm going to, oh, that's probably no good. Maybe let me tighten this and try this again. That's kind of silly. They are so interested in that bobber. There's like 5 of them that came up and looked at it and swirled into it. So something white is going to be the ticket. Finally, fish on. My problem is my net's on my opposite side. Shoo! Nice little brown. No, I switched to a black little bug. Please don't break my line. It's right here in the corner of his mouth. I saw it bounce once, I saw it bounce twice, and then my bobber was gone. My little strike indicator was gone. Now that I have him unhooked, let me switch sides here. Look at this, he's beautiful. Let's get him in some sunlight. He's kind of got like a bluish head and some orangish spots on him. Acclimated a little bit here before we let him go. His teeth are kind of sharp, they're kind of wrapped into the net a little bit. That's why you got to have these nets versus the other ones, because you won't ever be able to get them out if you don't. Look at that. It's awesome. At least one of us got one today. I'm gonna go over here with these guys and see if I can't put them on.
How deep do you have your bobber?
I'll come over there, I'll show you. This is just beautiful out here. Oh my gosh, look at the size of that brown. There was like 10 around it. It was probably bigger than 3 of them combined. Absolute tank.
No, he's getting ready to show up here. Look,
he's coming.
right to your left.
He's coming right at you.
I see.
Oh my god. I'm using a black bug that I cut the deal off of it.
Is that black?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Fish on, let's go. Daddy don't mess around, man. My buddy's like, you gotta stop calling yourself that. I'm like, well, I have a kid. What else am I supposed to call myself? I think that's the only requirement. There's a big one that just went underneath my feet here.
I forgot to bring pliers.
I see my flying is here, but the problem is my net's hooked on my left side and I pulled this around to my right side. It's all right. This water feels really good for what it is. Maybe it just feels good because I got a fish on. He's just saying that, man.
Yeah, we gotta go up the stream anyway. Unless we're hungry, we know enough. We better stay at the
This guy, no, don't go. Don't go anywhere. No, he got away with it.
luck every time.
So this chop on the water is actually really good. You do want this. It's very helpful whenever you're fly fishing. Just for the simply, like, see, I'm floating my little bug underneath my bobber here. It's basically just taking it and bouncing it around in the water so I don't have to, but the majority of the time, like if I'm not, I'll just sit here, I'll kind of pull my slack out, and then I'll just kind of jiggle it a little bit to make it look like my bug's alive. Sometimes, I mean, it's got a couple of reaction strikes for me. I mean, I got hooked up a little bit ago, and I mean, the majority of it could be just from the chop on the water too, so it's not necessarily a deal breaker. Some of it is kind of tricky though, because like as you can see, like where, I don't know if you can see my bobber out there, sometimes it's kind of getting eclipsed by a wave behind it, and it doesn't look, it could be a fish biting it, or who knows. But then again, but see how it's like dipping and riding the wave? It's taking my bait and kind of just dancing it around underneath it too. Give it a little, it's kind of pulling it out there because the current and then the chop are kind of going different directions. I think I kind of like this a little bit better because I have been up here and there's a hatchery right here and the current will come down, but it's kind of a pain sometimes fighting the current because you just have to keep recasting, kind of like nymphing. What do they call that? High sticking or nymphing, or basically the same way. I mean, you can get them to bite both ways. The only problem that comes out of this that I would have to say though is kind of the wind, because the wind can take your line and ball it up right behind you. And if it does that, you got wind knots, and you either sit down and you can get it out real gently, or you're just kind of done. Wind knots are kind of one of the most devastating things. I mean, it can really, I mean, you can go from fishing to being done just like that because of wind knots. So setting up a fly pole doesn't have to be that complicated. I ended up wind knotting my leader twice, and now it's only 35, 36 inches. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it off and put a new one on. And just getting wind knotted a couple times, you could kind of feel the line. You can really tell when they're past their prime. It's 9 foot long. It comes in a 3-pack over there at Bass Pro. There's a really special way to undo these. Why do I do that every time? And then they have like a little glue back. It's because we don't read directions. We didn't flip it around to find out. We'll push this one through. 1, 2, 3. And then it should start coming off as easy as that. Oh yeah, that new leader, that feels nice. So I'm going to end up taking about 7.5 foot of this, and then I'm going to attach a tippet ring, which I bought some of those. Right now I'm just using the heat from my fingers to stretch this and keep it as, it helps keep it straight. It takes out that little line memory. So we got our nail knot tool. This is the thumb rest you'll use. You'll run both your lines over there and use it to hold. There's a channel right here, and it's got a notch in it that your fly line goes through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put pressure on it, come back around, slide it back up in through the channel. Don't know how well you can see that, but like that. And you pull it kind of firmly. Then you insert your fly line through that back up to your thumb grip, like so. I'm gonna pull a little bit more of this through here just to be safe. Get a little wet, just pull, 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 and then just snip your tag ends. And there you have it. That's the nail knot. Simple as that. Now all we got to do is start lining our fly pole so we can get it ready for Tanney Como this weekend. I was watching the Mad River. I've learned a lot of my fly fishing stuff etiquette from him. And there's a really cool trick that he shows on there, and it's if you double your fly line over like this, and you start pulling it through your eye loops, if it comes unhinged or slips out of your hand,
it'll keep it from pulling all the way back. Watch, if you go like that, so what it's going to do is it's going to bloom right there, and it's going to keep it from going any farther. Pretty cool little trick, huh? The end of my pole actually got snapped off, and I fixed it myself with some epoxy. I'm going to epoxy in full. So if you take your fly pole, now you have your loop like this. And just like that, it's all ready to go. So one of the tips that I saw, I was watching somebody attach one of these, is they said keep it on this swivel and just isolate a single one like that. Go ahead and tie your improved clinch knot on here, since it's going to go ahead and already rotate. I'm going to get it wet. We're just going to cinch it down. And there you have it. Look at that. It's so micro you can probably hardly see it, but that is a leader attached to a tippet ring. And now I'm going to put a section of tippet on here, so hopefully I don't have to cut into my leader. That's the main reason for this, is so you don't eat up your leaders. And unfortunately that's what happened to me twice. I really have always just tried to use this from the boat, and it really kind of played against me pretty heavy because it was pretty windy. And I mean, it took no time at all. I was having a good time, it was casting great, and then all of a sudden we were turned into the wind and it was just tangling. And I mean, it happened quicker than you could shake a stick at it. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. Maybe I won't use this if it's windy, who knows. But I do want to start catching fish on my fly line. Even if I got to start taking it over here and catching bass on it, I'll do it. I don't care. I can't believe that that's what this is, a little micro tippet. There's that. And we're almost done. Thinking I'm going to use this little orange salmon egg puffball, and then one improved clinch knot, and it's good to go. Okay. Now the only thing left to do is catch some fish on it, so stay tuned for that. Hold it, he's big.